The man was a programmer at the Central Intelligence Agency. He was extremely talented. His IQ was as high as 170. He also had an elegant and beautiful wife. The man's name was Charlie. That day, his wife was leaving for a business trip to London. Charlie deliberately put down his work. He thoughtfully made a cup of hot coffee for his wife. His wife invited Charlie to come along to London, but Charlie declined, saying he was swamped with work. If he had known what was about to happen next, would he have regretted this decision? After seeing his wife off, Charlie returned to the office. An unknown hacker colleague sent him a piece of data. He also warned Charlie to check it when no one else was around. Charlie then headed to his secret workspace. He was shocked to discover that the drone attacks in the Middle East, which were reported as terrorist suicide bombings, had actually been authorized by his superior, Director Moore. Charlie couldn't understand it. Why would the United States attack one of its own allies? After work, Charlie quickly called his wife, but he only got her voicemail. Charlie assumed she was busy, so he didn't think much of it. The next day at work, Director Moore took Charlie to the director's office. The director told him that a terrorist attack had occurred in London recently. The target was the very hotel where Charlie's wife was staying. Director Moore then turned on the TV news. The news reported that the hotel had been attacked by 4 terrorists. 2 hostages had been taken. One of them was an American woman. Both had been killed in the incident. Charlie's eyes turned bloodshot. Back home, Charlie sat in front of his wife's bedroom door, breaking down silently. He made up his mind to find out who had killed his wife. Using his top-notch tech skills, he reviewed all the hotel surveillance footage. Charlie analyzed the robbers' voices. He identified the names and backgrounds of all 4 men. But when Charlie handed this information over to Director Moore, the director brushed him off with a dismissive attitude. Charlie refused to give up. The next day, he secretly hid a magnetic strip inside his ID badge. He copied all of Director Moore's dirty deeds onto the strip. Then he printed out all the data. He went to see Director Moore again, threatening that Moore had to help him uncover the truth behind the terrorist attack. Otherwise, he would leak all of Moore's misdeeds to the media. He also set up a fail-safe system. If Moore failed to enter a password every 5 hours, the files would be automatically sent to the media. Charlie demanded to receive training at the CIA. He wanted to take on a brand new identity to avenge his wife. Director Moore and his associate, Black, decided to keep Charlie calm first. They assigned Agent Poe to investigate Charlie. At the same time, they sent men to verify the authenticity of the fail-safe system. If Charlie was lying, they would then eliminate him. Soon, Charlie started his first day of training, but his shooting skills were absolutely terrible. His instructor was named Heller, who was in charge of Charlie's training program. Meanwhile, Blackman led a team to Charlie's house. They searched the entire place from top to bottom, but found no trace of the fail-safe system. Over at the training base, Charlie found a skill he excelled at: making bombs. Charlie gradually mastered a variety of survival skills. On the other side, the CIA spent a great deal of time and finally found a deliberately hidden CD, but when they decoded it, they discovered it was completely empty. That's when they realized they'd been tricked by Charlie. Director Moore immediately ordered Charlie to be eliminated, but the training base was already empty. Charlie, armed with a full set of forged documents, had bypassed the base's vaunted biometric security system and escaped. Only then did these men realize they had seriously underestimated this mild-mannered programmer. Later, they figured out why they had failed. Inside a folder on the desk was a tiny bug, thousands of miles away. Charlie took off the bug and threw it into the trash can. He then boarded a flight bound for Paris. Charlie's first target was Frank. Frank was a former agent who often hung out at a corner bakery near the crime scene. Charlie kept the bakery under surveillance. He pinpointed Frank's apartment. Taking advantage of Frank's absence, he managed to pick the lock and get inside. He took photos of Frank's schedule and grabbed a pistol from the drawer. Unexpectedly, Frank returned earlier than planned. Charlie panicked and hid upstairs. He stared at the man who was part of the group that killed his wife, but he couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger. Charlie found out that Frank was allergic to pollen, so he went to a flower shop and bought a large patch of lily. He extracted the pollen from the flowers. While Frank was hospitalized due to his allergy, Charlie hacked into the hospital system. He sneaked into Frank's hospital room. He injected the pollen into Frank's oxygen supply. He then threatened Frank to reveal the whereabouts of the third robber. The cunning Frank faked his death to trick Charlie. He launched a surprise attack on Charlie. Luckily, Frank was only focused on escaping and didn't actually want to kill Charlie. But as Frank darted into the middle of the road, he was hit and killed by a car. Charlie picked up Frank's phone. He successfully tracked down the whereabouts of his next target. When Charlie was searching for his target in a dimly lit bar in St. Petersburg, he unexpectedly spotted his instructor, Hella. Sensing danger, Charlie tried to flee immediately, but Hella cornered him in a small bar. Charlie jumped into the bathroom, only to find there was no escape window at all. Hella sat casually at the bar, waiting for Charlie to come out. Charlie's cover had been blown as soon as his first target died, but Charlie was no pushover. His best subject during training had been bomb making, so after a massive explosion, Charlie managed to make his escape. Charlie contacted his hacker partner. To his surprise, he found out that the hacker was actually a woman. Her name was Anna. Anna told Charlie that Parasite had been her late husband's codename. Her husband had been silenced by Russian intelligence. Their shared tragedy made her decide to help Charlie. Charlie's second target was Cabrera. Although Cabrera was born in Russia, he traveled extensively. Charlie checked Cabrera's social media account. He looked at the latest photo Cabrera had posted. Anna analyzed the blurry figure reflected in the glass on the left side of the photo. Charlie deduced that Cabrera was currently in Madrid. After noticing Director Moore's suspicious behavior, the CIA director sent his trusted agents to keep an eye on Hella's every move. Meanwhile, Charlie and Anna, who had arrived in Madrid, quickly tracked down Cabrera's whereabouts using city surveillance cameras. This ruthless thug was staying in a 5-star luxury hotel with his girlfriend. He had even booked the hotel's 30-story high glass sky pool. Charlie obtained the pool's structural blueprints and built an electromagnetic pulse device. He followed Cabrera into the pool area. Anna alerted him from their hideout. Hella was in the hotel lobby, and another CIA agent was there as well. Charlie ignored the warning and proceeded with his plan as scheduled. He walked up to the edge of the pool. He showed Cabrera the remote control. He also brought up the fact that his wife had been taken hostage and killed in the attack. Cabrera turned around and tried to run away. Charlie pressed the remote control. In an instant, the glass shattered. Cabrera fell from the 30th floor to his death. On the other side, just as Hella was about to catch up with Charlie, he was tackled by the CIA agent. The two fought fiercely in the hotel laundry room. In the end, Hella shot and killed the agent. Charlie, who had arrived on the scene, leaned against the wall, gasping for breath. When Charlie and Anna returned to their safe house, the alarm suddenly blared loudly. Dozens of agents broke through the windows and stormed in. The two fled in a hurry through the emergency exit, but as they drove away, Anna was hit by a bullet. And just like that, Charlie's hacker partner and ally was gone. Charlie didn't have time to grieve. He stepped on the gas and fled the scene. Using Cabrera's phone, Charlie posed as an arms bearer and got in touch with Laurence. When this former Special Forces soldier and his men opened the arms crate in the abandoned warehouse, they were greeted by a directional explosive device that Charlie had carefully set up. Charlie took Laurence's phone and then turned and left. Behind him, a loud explosion went off. Out of the 4 murderers, 3 had now been eliminated. Only one remained, Horst, the man who had killed his wife. Charlie learned that Horst was extremely cautious. He spent most of his time on a Russian cargo ship. The only way to contact him was through a cafe at a dock somewhere in the Baltic Sea. But when Charlie went to the dock to record the movements of the small boats, someone attacked him from behind. When he woke up, he found himself on the cargo ship, out on the open sea. Horst, the man who had killed his wife, was standing right in front of him. Horst tried to explain to Charlie that what had happened was just a tactical move. He even gave Charlie a chance to avenge his wife, but Charlie couldn't bring himself to pull the trigger. Just then, the crew discovered that their ship had lost control. It had already drifted into Finnish territorial waters. This was all part of Charlie's plan. He had deliberately let himself be captured and brought onto the ship. Then he hacked into the ship's navigation system. He had also alerted the Finnish Navy and Interpol in advance. In the end, Interpol boarded the ship and arrested Horst. Charlie had finally avenged his wife,